Hello again and a warm welcome to the program. This is Energy and You, a weekly show that provides you with insights on major developments in the energy sector with a focus on NNPC Limited. I'm Erusa Higumbo. Tonight, oil theft in Nigeria drops by 79%. That's according to the latest report by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NEITI, an indication that NNPC's ongoing war on crude oil theft is yielding results. And the national oil company takes major steps to increase productivity. Details of these and more in a moment. Please join us again. Thanks for staying with us. We begin with top global stories in the energy sector this week.
Oil prices rose for a second consecutive session at the start of the week, with concerns escalating over potential supply disruptions in the Middle East after Israel stepped up attacks on Palestinian militant group Hamas and Iranian-backed forces in the region. Brent crude futures for November delivery gained $1.12, up to $73.10 a barrel. Last week, Brent fell around 3% and West Texas Intermediate crude fell by around 5% on worries about demand in China, despite fiscal stimulus measures in the world's second biggest economy and top oil importer. Shares of British oil-fueled service provider Petrofac dropped 33% earlier this week after the company reported bigger half-yearly losses amid difficulties in closing legacy contracts in its biggest units. After a boom in orders due to high oil prices in 2022, the firm has been struggling with a string of profit warnings related to legacy contract and payment delays at its largest division in recent months. The company reported that its net loss widened to $208 million in the 6 months ended June 30 from $141 million in the same period last year. Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak is expecting that oil prices fluctuations will subside following the volatility spurred by the tension in the Middle East, as geopolitical risks are already factored in. Novak, who oversees the broader Russian economy, told local media that the economy hit by sanctions will sustain any pressure and Western imposed price caps on the country's oil. Novak said Russia will continue its cooperation with the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries OPEC beyond 2025, after which the current deal on oil output curbs by the expanded group expires.
Come on, let's go. Energy for today, energy for tomorrow.
You're watching Energy and You. Now, the Nigerian energy company has reaffirmed its commitment to transparency in line with the objectives and principles of the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, NEITI. NNPC Limited said it is complying with global industry practices while ensuring all actions are taken to sustain the onslaught against crude oil theft. This commitment comes just as NEITI presents its 2022-2023 report to the public.
The well-attended public presentation and unveiling of the 2022-2023 Oil and Gas Industry Reports by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NEITI) brought together energy industry players, top government functionaries, civil society organizations and heads of anti-graft agencies. NNPC's Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mele Kyari, was represented by the Chief Compliance Officer, Mr. Nasir Usman. He conveyed the company's goodwill and commendations to NEITI on its detailed reports, which continue to guide policy decisions and reforms that advance accountability in the oil and gas industry. Mr. Nasir Usman assured stakeholders that NNPC Limited is working with relevant stakeholders to ensure crude oil theft is mitigated to the barest minimum, as evident in the NEITI reports, which highlights a 79% drop in crude oil theft in the year 2023.
The principles espoused by NEITI are in perfect harmony with those of NNPC Limited. Therefore, we have done and will continue to partner with NEITI in the coming future. Just as the years has earlier said, We have started this reporting, a call to action. Let me assure everyone that NNPC has heard this call, and we will take action and will take cognizance and mend all the loopholes that have been observed.
NNPC Limited has also restated its commitment to continued transparency in its operations. The company was part of the working committee on the NEITI report. Mr. Usman therefore encouraged other relevant agencies and the government to take cognizance of the recommendations in the reports as key information and source for national planning and budgets. Earlier on, in his presentation, the Executive Secretary of NEITI, Dr. Ogbonnaya Orji, explained that the documents presented followed a transparent and meticulous process in line with global NEITI standards as validated and reconciled in an open manner. He therefore called for complete implementation of recommendations by the report, whilst urging for compliance to transparency through remittances and best industry practices.
The report contains several key findings and recommendations. Many of them lie on recommendations on revenue leakages and what needs to be done, the need for improved compliance with regulatory frameworks and suggestions for increasing transparency in the operations, cases of stealing and malfeasance in the sector. The report underscores the significance of improving governance structures in the sector within the context of the Petroleum Industry Act. Your role in ensuring that the recommendations in this report are implemented is very crucial.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and the Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Olanipekun Olukoyede, were also present at the event.
The lessons learned from this report will inform our policies and ensure that continue to strengthen transparency and accountability in the oil and gas industry.
We have been making recoveries, we have cases in court we are prosecuting, and with this report, 2022 and 2023, we are also going to do everything within our power, deploy all our resources to ensure that we implement the recommendations therein.
As stakeholders here take away recommendations of the 2022-2023 NEITI Oil and Gas Industry Report for deliberation and implementation, NNPC Limited continues to assure of its strict compliance to best industry standards, just as it intensifies collaboration with government bodies to mitigate crude oil theft for better economic advancement.
In a bold move to bolster productivity and revamp asset integrity of the company, the management of NNPC Limited recently convened a crucial management facilities engagement with the staff of the Suleja terminal in Niger State. The management facilities engagement, which was led by the Managing Director of NSAV Limited, Mr. Tunde Ehizoje, was part of a company-wide initiative.
The visit and facility tour served as a platform for NNPC Limited's leadership to gain first-hand insights into the operations and challenges faced by the Suleja depot, allowing them to better understand the pulse of the organization. Employees had the opportunity to voice their concerns, share their experiences, and propose ideas for enhancing the overall efficiency and well-being of the depot. Representing the Managing Director of NSERV at the event was the Executive Director, Business Services, Engineer Mrs. Martina Atucci, who reassured staff of the terminal that their concerns and observations would be given utmost attention.
I'm very thrilled. It's an opportunity to see what is going on at the Suleja terminal, and I'm happy, and the facilities need to be more active.
The terminal manager, NNPC Pipelines and Storage Company NPSC Suleja Terminal, Engineer Christopher Eberebe, provided valuable insights into the terminal's history, viability, and current status, hinting that the Suleja depot was commissioned as a depot in 1995.
This terminal is a very strategic one. Firstly, because of the location, very close to the nation's capital, and also because of the facilities we have here, and also because of the role it plays in petroleum product distribution, not just in FCT Abuja, and also in other truck distribution zones like Niger State, Kogi State, Nasarawa State, and some parts of Kebbi and Kaduna State. So it's a very strategic one. So our expectation is that the enormous assets and capacity that we have here will be more utilized. That way we'll also be able to generate more revenue for the company and also contribute more for the energy security aspiration of the company.
The management facilities engagements provided a platform for open communication, allowing the staff to voice their concerns and suggestions directly to the NNPC Limited's leadership. This level of engagement has instilled a renewed sense of optimism among the terminal's employees, who are eager to see the implementation of the proposed measures to address the facility's challenges. As NNPC Limited continues its commitment to revitalizing the Suleja terminal, the staff remain steadfast in their dedication to the company's mission. This management engagement has undoubtedly paved the way for a brighter future where the terminal's strategic position and commercial viability can be fully realized, ultimately contributing to the energy security of the nation.
We'll take a moment here, but there's plenty more when we return. Please stay with us. You're still watching Energy and You. Now, the war on crude oil theft continues to gain momentum. NNPC Limited and its partners are recording more gains with new discoveries of illegal mercenaries around the production field. Here's an update.
The war on crude oil theft is on, and the industry-wide security collaboration on hydrocarbon infrastructure continues to record remarkable progress. From 21st to 27th September 2024, a total of 172 incidents were recorded across the Niger Delta region. These incidents were detected and reported by NNPC Limited's Command and Control Centers, NNPC 18, Tantita Security Agency, Shell Petroleum Development Company, Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, Maton Engineering Nigeria Limited, and government security agencies. In the heart of the Niger Delta region, the numbers tell the story of an ongoing struggle. 61 incidents were recorded in the Central Corridor, 59 in the Eastern Corridor, 19 in the Western Corridor, and 33 in deep blue waters. The crack teams of security forces uncovered a web of illegal connections running deep into the heart of the region. From Owaza in Abia State to Biseni 11, Brass, and along the Opotuwari axis in Bayelsa State. These secret pipelines were shut down one by one and repairs were made in places like Odioma and Obioku in Bayelsa State. Security forces struck hard, destroying makeshift refineries that have polluted the land for far too long. Also, in Rivers State, illegal refineries were wiped out in Oputumbi, Bile, Nanabie, Ataba, Ayamba Town, and along Boni axis. Security forces uncovered well-hidden illegal storage sites. These hidden hubs of stolen crude oil were exposed in places like Kunsho and West Boma in Bayelsa states, Warri and Ure in Delta states, Ahoada, Ebocha and Emugantu in Rivers states. Each of these sites, once a haven for criminals, were dismantled and destroyed. The week also saw several oil spills that caused environmental devastation. In Ipu South of Abia State, a ruptured pipeline gushed crude oil into the surrounding environment, polluting the land. In Rivers State, another spill created a crude oil reservoir at Noah Rand's Niger pipeline, a visual testament to the harm caused by illegal activities. On land in Ebocha and Krigani River States, Ogo and Iri in Delta States, vehicles packed with stolen crude in sacks and plastic bags were intercepted. On water, wooden boats filled with stolen crude oil were intercepted at Ebocha, Ahoada, Egi3 and Bile in Rivers State. In total, 11 suspects were arrested. Their efforts to undermine the nation's economy and environment thwarted. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war on crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good.
To report crude oil theft or suspicious activities within your area, call the numbers on your screen now or send an email to report@stopcrudetheft.com. Handsome rewards await the whistleblower. Do your part. Report oil theft today.
In a campaign for cleaner energy, the utilization of Nigeria's gas resources remains the most viable option, hence the push for compressed natural gas (CNG) as an alternative to petrol. NNPC Limited, which has championed this initiative along with the federal government, continues to make remarkable progress in its campaign for CNG as an available, cheaper and more efficient source of energy for Nigerians. Executive Director, Commercial and Business Development of NNPC Gas Marketing Limited, Mr. Haruna Abdulrahman, gives us a review of the campaign in this report. He speaks on the company's exploration of the CNG initiative in the Nigerian market, the success recorded so far, as well as future plans for expansion and maximum utilization.
Nigeria, through its commitment to reduce carbon emissions, mitigate climate change effects and provide cleaner and cheaper alternatives to fuel use in Nigeria, has accepted gas as its transition fuel. This also falls in line with the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change that has accepted natural gas as a global transition fuel. Nigeria's energy company NNPC Limited is therefore driving the Decade of Gas initiative through strategic partnerships and synergy in utilizing all forms of gas for national development. The compressed natural gas (CNG) is one of the gas utilization projects where various partnerships have been entered into, and a pioneer collaboration with NIPCO Gas Limited sees the provision of 35 state-of-the-art gas stations nationwide. The initiative is aimed at expanding access and availability of compressed natural gas (CNG) to Nigerians as cheaper alternative for fuel. The journey of NNPC's CNG initiative has recorded successes with more stations springing up nationwide. The Executive Director, Commercial and Business Development of NNPC Gas Marketing Limited, NGML, Mr. Haruna Abdulrahman, takes us through this journey of NNPC's drive in ensuring CNG penetration nationwide.
You will discover that it is already in the public domain that NNPC has strategic partnership with some entities, and it is not exclusive. We are going to have more strategic partnership because this is for Nigeria and Nigerians. And NGML is one of the entities that is actually going to anchor this initiative. One, we are looking at 5 A's, that is availability, of the energy in terms of gas that we are talking about, accessibility, acceptability, affordability, and the last A, which is assurance. The quick wins specifically are these, what we have talked about in respect of the SDG 7, that's Sustainable Development Goal 7 of the United Nations, which specifically is talking about clean and affordable energy. NNPC, both NGML, that is NNPC Gas Marketing Limited, and sister companies NNPC Retail have recently commissioned 12 in total CNG stations, and one was earlier commissioned, making the total 13. But that is not the end of the story. It is just the beginning, because as per NGML, we have the plan to actually go for 32 daughter stations. When we say daughter station, that is where you have the last mile to actually dispense to the end user, and 3 mother stations whereby you will actually compress the gas to meet the requirements of the what we call CNG. That requirement is basically to have the pressure between 200 and 250 bars. And this is what we have on ground as quick wins.
He speaks on further plans for expansion where more partnerships are encouraged and expected, both locally and internationally, all aimed at accessibility and utilization.
The ultimate aim is to reach every nook and cranny of Nigeria with those ones. That's why I said it is not just about quick wins, it's about what we are going to do to make all Nigerians have access to clean, affordable energy. Not just CNG, not just auto CNG, but clean, affordable energy. Number one is that to be a partner, we don't just want anybody to come and say we want to partner and that is it. Do you have the capacity? Do you have the technical ability? Do you have what it takes to actually go into this business in terms of experience, in terms of financial capabilities? We have a lot of criteria, items that we look at. But in a nutshell, we are also going to have real Nigerian companies to partner with. As we are speaking, there are about more than 10 companies that have already shown interest, not just on what everybody knows, which is the filling station or the daughter station, but even those that have fleet of vehicles, which are not yet known to a lot of the ordinary Nigerian, but it is known to us, and we are already working on that assiduously to make sure that it has positive impact on haulage of goods, not just on passenger vehicles, but haulage of goods that will make goods cheaper in Nigeria in terms of transportation. We are engaging the Gas Aggregator Company of Nigeria, and even the NMDPRA recently has just approved the categorization of mobility CNG to be able to benefit from the categorization pricing for the pipeline gas that the mother stations will be using, and that says a lot. Why all this is because we don't want a situation whereby at the end of the day it is just NNPC. No, we want it to be private sector driven so that all companies that have the wherewithal to be in this business are in this business, because it takes all hands to be on deck to be able to make all Nigerians to have clean and affordable energy.
He spoke further on major gas projects by the National Energy Company in not just ensuring availability of gas, but also sustainability efforts.
NNPC, NGML is going into further partnerships to actually have that further mileage to establish about 3, starting with 3 mini LNG plants that will have the LNG that can be converted into CNG. By LNG, you'll be able to transport about 6 to 8 times more what the cascade CNG can actually transport. So that will give the more mileage so that you can reach the whole nation as time goes on. Feeding into AKK means that we are going to have more gas available, which is pipeline gas, and the pipeline gas is the feed gas that will be used for the mother station. The mother station compresses it to CNG. So in terms of what it will do for Nigeria, it is a lot. One, coming back to the 5 A's, availability of the gas. And don't forget that we have about 3 power plants that are also along the AKK, and that is also going to benefit not just industries, power, industries, automotive.
As NNPC Limited continues to expand the outreach of CNG to Nigerians through expansion initiatives and major projects, the message is that CNG is here to stay in Nigeria. It is affordable, safer, user-friendly and environmentally friendlier. NNPC Limited therefore is not relenting to ensure wider outreach to Nigerians.
Well, that's our show tonight. Thank you for watching. If you missed any part of the show or previous episodes, you can catch up by scanning the QR code on your screen now. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles showing on your screen for more updates on activities of NNPC Limited. Thanks again for watching. I'm Egosa Egumbo. See you again next time.